So now let's talk about what an IDE is. So an IDE is what's called an integrated development environment. And basically all this is a piece of software that's specifically designed to help you write code, right? So as we've talked about before, you can theoretically write a term paper using QuickBooks and create invoices using a word processor, but that's probably going to make everybody miserable, right? You can do it. It's not necessarily a great way to go. The same thing is true with coding, where you can use just a normal text editor in order to write most code. So if you want to write Python scripts or PHP or JavaScript, you can literally open up Notepad or text on the Mac or whatever else, and you can literally write code just in that text editor, save it with whatever extension or run it through the compiler, and that's it. The issue is that when you do that, you're not going to have any tools or functionality to make your life easier, so your life is probably going to be pretty difficult. So what the IDE does is basically it's just a piece of software specifically designed to make it easier for you to be able to write code. Now with IDEs, there are a lot of different IDEs available. Again, it's just a application that you install on your system. So just like there's a lot of word processing software out there, Word and Google Docs and Pages and LibreOffice and that type of thing, the same is true with IDEs. There are a tremendous number of them that are available. You may prefer, some over others. Here at Silicon Dojo, we focus on VSCode because over the last number of years, VSCode has kind of become the default standard that everybody I know uses. And so that's going to be one of the things to be thinking about as you move forward with your coding career, is not simply understanding how to use code, but also how to use the tools that are going to be required in order to build projects. So if you use the tools that everybody else is using, then things are going to get a lot easier for you. So again, we use VS Code for Silicon Dojo. Almost everybody I know uses VS Code. So unless there's a reason to not use VS Code, that's probably a good default standard to go with. It is absolutely free, so you can just download it. You can just simply install it and use it. There are versions for Windows, obviously. There's versions for Mac, and there's versions for Linux. They're all basically the same. So there's really no barrier to entry to using VS Code, and so that's one of the reasons it's become a favorite for most folks. So here's something that I'm currently playing with on VS Code. So I'm currently working with Hugging Face. So Hugging Face is a framework for dealing with AI, and I have these 6 lines of code here, and basically I'm trying to figure out what the secret to baking a good cake is, right? Don't worry about this code. Again, we have a whole series on Python that'll explain much more of this. I just want to give you the overview of what the IDE does for you. So when you're sitting here and you're looking at this code, one of the nice things you'll notice is that it color codes everything for you. So this is a module, transformers. I'm going to import a function called pipeline. So you'll notice, transformers is in green, the module is in green, and the pipeline is in yellow, the function's in yellow. One of the other cool things is with any of these words like pipeline, if I double click on it, so basically I highlight the entire thing, wherever else it shows up in the code, it will also be highlighted. So I have this generator variable here, so I highlight that, and then the generator variable down here is highlighted too. So this can be a very useful thing if you're using a function or something like that throughout your code and you're trying to find other places where it's been used. Simply being able to highlight it, and it highlights every other instance, can be a very useful thing. Again, with this color coding here, if you do something that's weird, I don't know, you just type in whatever that is, right? Right? You'll notice this is white. This is white and it has a little yellow line under it, so you know there's a problem there. So let's say, I wanted to deal with a result, but I fat fingered it, so I put result. So R-S-U-L-T instead of result. You'll notice it's all in white. It has a little squiggly line under it. And it also says, hey, do you want that to actually be result? And I can hit enter and it will change it to result, right? It's all those nice little tools there to make life a lot easier for you. Again, if I'm going to do something, let's say print. So you see, as I start writing print, it gives me other options there. And then I can, go and I can type things in, and it gives me kind of like that autocomplete thing going on that can be very useful for writing code. With these interpreted languages we use, such as Python, a lot of the times this is going to be running against the underlying operating system, and we're going to be getting an output. And so one of the things here is we have the terminal. So we actually have a terminal window here. So when I run this script, it'll actually get triggered on the operating system, and then we get the results back. And this is simply just a terminal window, right? So the secret to baking a good cake is, and it says down here, the secret to baking a good cake is 1, having the right ingredients, having the right tools, having the right amount of patience, blase, blase. So we have the terminal thing there too. You have the option for things like problems. So if there's problems in code, I don't know, there we go. See how there's, I forgot to do the parentheses there. And so we get that problem right there. So it shows me that there's a problem. That's one of the things that's nice there. And that's some of the stuff that an IDE can give you. Over here, we have File Explorer. So it shows me the different files that I have within what's called my workspace. So if I want to go to a different file here, I can simply highlight that and we'll go and click on it. It will go to a different file. And then we can come down here to extensions. And then basically what these extensions are they are add-ons to this IDE environment. So we have the Python extensions here. This gives me functionality for being able to write code in Python, and it gives me all this information. But it also has things like remote SSH. So actually, within VS Code itself, I can remotely SSH into a server, so up on DigitalOcean, that type of thing, and then be able to interact with that server from within VS Code. And this is actually an extension that comes from Microsoft. And there are a tremendous number of extensions that are available, far too many for me to even try to explain them all. But this is all the different types of functionality that can be added into your VS Code environment to make being able to write the code, deploy the code, and to be able to maintain your systems a lot easier. So that gives you an idea of what an IDE is, and it gives you a brief example using VS Code. Again, here at Silicon Dojo, we only use VS Code just because it's easy. Everybody I know uses VS Code. It's free to use. You can use it on darn near any operating system. There are not any restrictions. The extensions are great, the whole 9 yards. There are other IDEs out there, so depending on who you might get hired by, or if you have some type of specialty need, you might need to use a different IDE. Though I will remind you is that when you go get hired at a company, basically you should know the tools that the company is going to want you to know, right? So if you become an expert in some other IDE and they're using something like VS Code or Visual Studio, something like that, there may just be a learning curve or some issues there, basically as you get up to speed with how their systems and workflows work. So that's basically what an IDE is and why we like VS Code.